Had a neutral floor game last weekend, and now your first true road test of the year. How important is a road test before conference play, and what do you want to see from your guys tonight?
I want to see our guys compete, Jimmy, and it is extremely important as you get into conference play. You know, half your games are going to be on the road, and I just want to see how our guys are going to respond. You know, obviously that the first one is you want to get it underneath your belt, and but I think our guys are excited. We had as you said, a neutral court game last week, and I think that a great environment. Believe it or not, I think that would help us tonight going in what we're going to see tonight.
TJ Warren can really score. What do you do to him defensively?
Wow, he's really good. I think we can't have just one guy stop him. It's got to be a great team defensive effort against him. He's all over the court. He plays a great pass and great energy. You cannot relax 1 second if you're matched up with him.
Coach, good luck to you. Let's check in with my partner now for the night, Fran Fraschilla.
Coach, you lost 80% of your scoring from a team a year ago, yet you've adjusted. How have you done it?
Well, our guys have bought in. They're playing really hard. I think we figured out how our team needs to play. You know, we took us a little while, but we're getting there, and I think we're starting to get better.
What's your strength?
Well, I think we can score the ball, and you know, you got a guy like TJ Warren. You start off there, but I think our other guys can too. And so, if we can get the games to where we can get out and run, get some fast break opportunities, we become pretty good.
Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Fran.
To the ACC on ESPN.
It's the 25th ranked Missouri Tigers taking on North Carolina State. And Fran Fraschilla, a couple of guys in our one-on-one that are absolutely fit the definition of hard to guard. Starting with Missouri's Jordan Clarkson. This is a guy that is a pick-and-roll stud. 33% of his total offense comes out of that pick-and-roll game. Terrific going both hands, especially strong to the right. Has size and feel as a passer at 6'5". Has great understanding of where his weapons are around him. And in transition, he is a transition finisher that also gets fouled about 25% of the time in transition.
Jimmy, TJ Warren shoots 33% of North Carolina State shots for good reason. Tremendous in transition. He's an excellent shot maker, really creative. And then watch his ability to score around the rim. Watch how quick and efficient he is.
Franny, it's an NC State team that's #1 in the nation. They get 65% of their points from the two-point part of the floor. Mark Godfrey's always had a knack to get the ball around the rim, and his team has done it well this year.
And smart enough, Jimmy, to get the ball to TJ Warren. How about this? 79% he's shooting at the rim. That's incredible.
Pretty much sums his game up right there. He's a 15-foot and in stud is what he is. The one guy that can break off for the offense and make a play, TJ Warren's the guy.
He reminds me a lot of Antoine Jamison, just in his efficiency around the basket. Former Tar Heel.
You know, when you just break this game down, I don't know if Missouri has a guy that can guard TJ Warren man-to-man. I think we'll see a good dose of zone from Missouri tonight.
And I think on the other hand, NC State's got to deal with the three guards, the three 6'5" guards led by the guy you highlighted, Jordan Clarkson.
Clarkson, Brown, Ernest Ross, the other one. All three of those guys can get you 20.
You got a piece of Jordan Clarkson there in transition.
Yeah, I don't like the shot by Ernest Ross. He's only shooting about 31% on the year. First side of the floor, first pass, long three. That is not his strength.
On the other hand, one of the things I like about State in his 7-game winning streak, really efficient in the half-court offense. The freshman point guard, Cat Barber, really done a good job of running that team. I'll be surprised if Frank Haith doesn't post some of these guards tonight against a smaller Barber and then Lewis off the bench.
Can't let him go right.
Yep.
You cannot let Jordan Clarkson go right. In late clock, Missouri is so good shooting over 50% with 4 seconds or left on the late clock, and a lot of it's because of Jordan Clarkson's ability to do just that.
Yeah, and I wasn't thrilled with the way NC State played that pick and roll scheme right there. They attacked Vandenberg. Look at this guy. You talk about efficiency, Jimmy. Last 3 games, T.J. Warren is averaging 27 points a game, but he does it so quietly.
See, there's a difference in forcing Clarkson to go to his weak hand left. This whole Missouri team is dominant right-handed off the pick and roll action.
Well, I thought that was a travel right there. The referee said that he bobbled it, but it looked like he had possession of that ball when he hit the ground.
There's that odd staggered screen up top for Clarkson. That's really a unique. Got to see a lot of it breaking down film, what they just worked off of there.
Now here's the guy, Desmond Lee. When Rodney Purvis transferred to UConn, Mark Gottfried was able to pick this guy up from junior college, New Mexico Junior College, and he's given them some grit and toughness.
And he has not practiced the entire week. He had an MRI on his foot because of an injury. For both teams, I've been impressed with both teams, their ability to get the ball around the rim and deliver body blows. That is so important. What did Kentucky do to Louisville today? They got the ball around the rim. The last 2 national champions, Kentucky and Louisville, have shot 65 and 67% on rim shots. If you're going to win on neutral floor in March, you got to make it.
Both of these teams are teams that this is like a first-round NCAA tournament game. There's Cat Barber. What I like about Cat Barber is Mark Gottfried told us that he missed his first 7 or 8 practices. He couldn't really pick up the system for the first month of the season, making a lot of strides. Take a look right here. Clarkson, your guy.
Don't let him go right. Mark Gottfried will talk about it, I'm sure.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Acura Season of Reason event and Joseph A. Bank. We fit most everyone. JOSbank.com.
This feels like a first-round game, like that 8-9 matchup or 7-10. Yeah, right in there. Both these teams have kind of slide into those spots. Frank Haith has really had to remake his team again this year off a lot of transfers and first-year guys, and he's blended them beautifully, led by Jordan Clarkson, the Tulsa transfer who transitioned to that point guard spot last year during his redshirt year. Frank just keeps that train rolling right on down the tracks in Columbia.
Well, you know, Mark Gottfried 2.5 years ago, we were talking at ESPNU in Charlotte about whether he should take the Tulane job or not. And all of a sudden, he's the coach at NC State, took him to the Sweet 16, and got the 6-year contract. I don't think we're going to see him back at ESPN for quite a while. Now, last year was a tough year, I thought, for Wolfpack. They won 24 games, but I never felt a team with Lorenzo Brown, C.J. Leslie, Richard Howe, and others, they really bought into what the team needed to do to be even better than they were, Jimmy. He loves this team.
They never played together. And I like this year's team, NC State, better than last year's team already.
And they don't even have, 70% of the talent,
right?
In my opinion. Got young guys, a lot of freshmen, big freshmen are going to be pretty solid. Vandenberg, the 50-year guy. They're 7-0 with Jordan Vandenberg back in the lineup. And all he does is protect the rim.
Let's see if Mark Godfrey got his point across about not letting Missouri drive right off of any ball screen action. That is when they are at their best.
You see Desmond Lee, who's probably their best perimeter defender, is getting a piece of Clarkson.
I'm open, but I'm not a good shooter.
Well, that time I thought NC State did a really good job of packing in that defense, no pun intended, and really kept that ball on the perimeter for as long as possible. Well, they had T.J. Warren. Little zone right here.
Fran, Missouri has done a few possessions this year of showing zone to start the possession and then transition into man.
Right now, I think they're in that
straight zone right now.
Yeah, they play a 3-2 matchup zone that oftentimes takes a couple passes to figure out.
That's the only part about his game I'm not sure about. T.J. Warren. Shoot about 25% from three. I don't like his footwork all the time. Not sure about his elbow, but everything else, man. Guy's a stud.
You like this Wes Clark, this freshman from Detroit, don't you?
I like him as a backup point guard. Yeah, and it allows Clarkson to slide off. Now you got two big wings with Clarkson and Brown. Again, they are very good in late clock, and this is going to be an example of it.
Oh, no. Well, excellent defense by T.J. Warren, by the way. Watch this. Now, what I liked about this from Missouri's standpoint is there was no screen, so he was able to operate on his own, but I love the fact that T.J. Warren, with the length, stayed on his feet until Clarkson left his feet.
It was a terrific individual defensive play because Clarkson did a good job of stepping back to create separation, and Warren stepped right with him, and then went up. Foul on Jabari Brown. That's one thing that I question a little bit about Missouri going forward. Not great depth, playing 7 guys right now.
Oh, I think
they've told us he's got to get that 8th guy ready.
Yeah, I think it's a factor because you got Jabari Brown playing 37 minutes and Clarkson about 33. Frank, since he got to Columbia, has never been more than a 7, maybe 8 guy. In fact, that great 30 and 5 team really was a 6-man team. Oh, and by the way, somewhere in Italy, Kim English is watching this game somewhere on ESPN3.
Not only is he watching the game, he's looking to see did Missouri follow the scouting report, and it is a detailed scouting report that he sent Frank Cave on NC State. Yeah. 2 or 3 pages. Watch out!
Oh, that's nice. You talked about going right.
Can't let him go right. And they talked about it for an hour today in their shoot-around. When the ball's on the left side of the floor, keep it over there.
That's called from the coach's standpoint, brain lock.
Yeah, what the heck are you doing?
Here's that matchup zone again. A lot of teams have zoned NC State because of the lack of deep outside shooting. That's another example right there. The one guy that can shoot it, I don't see in the game yet.
Turner.
Yeah, Turner will transfer from.
Boy, they're good at transition. They can really put it on you quickly, talking about Missouri.
Watch this now, Jimmy. You talked about this at the Open, how good he is going right. You know what I love about that? They did this against Illinois.
A little bit of a moving screen.
Yeah, no ball screens, almost like a 3-man weave with the perimeter guys.
Fran, that's the 2nd foul on Cat Barber. And that's an important guy because he has really ran this team well for Mark Gottfried. And as a defender, he's been outstanding for a freshman. The guy that Cat Barber has guarded this year is shooting 29%.
How about that?
That's how good he's been. So now he sits down, and a guy that is, as Lewis checks in, here's the difference. The guy that Lewis is guarding this year is shooting 50% from the floor. Teams go right at Tyler Lewis.
I have a feeling we'll see a little bit of post-up from Missouri with those 3 6'5" guards. Tyler Lewis, former McDonald's All-American, really good vision in the open court and the half court.
A lane violation. This little kid with the ball now, he can really pass it, he can run an offense, smart, high IQ, but defensively, Missouri will go right at him, I think, when they get that basketball.
You know, Vandenberg had a bunch of dunks against East Carolina, and he worked behind the zone. He was the recipient of some really good Lewis passes. Just keep your eye on Vandenberg. They play him along the baseline.
Frank's gone to his 8th guy, is Keanu Post.
Well, what I worry about, Jimmy, and you'll see Missouri a lot all year, is if you don't develop your bench and get to 8 and 9, you're one sprained ankle away in conference play from losing 3 or 4 in a row, you know? And as hard as it is, and as important as these games are, the Illinois game, this game, you know, conference play comes quickly.
Warren puts a lot of pressure on you quickly. He reads the mismatch. Criswell's not going to stop him off the bounce. He's a big kid. You don't realize he's 6'8". He just has a knack. That's the best way to describe 24 in white. A knack to get the ball in the basket.
Fun part for me is he's the least heralded of the recruiting class 2 years ago. Purvis, Lewis, McDonald's All-Americans.
So Missouri's going to pack that defense in. NC State only making 4 3-point shots per game. This is the first possession that Missouri has a chance to make Tyler Lewis defend.
Well, and he's got Clark, so Clark's not going to post him up anyway. You know, I don't know if Criswell made any jumpers against Illinois, but he made a couple against Western Michigan, and Frank Haight's feeling is you play with energy on the defensive end, and I'll let you play on the perimeter a little bit.
He gets one board every 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Every coach in the country is going to play a guy like that.
Now, I'm not going to let him shoot 1-3 every 3 minutes.
See the rotation on his shot from distance, talking about Warren. But from there, I'm telling you, from 15 feet and in, the guy's a stud.
What I love inside the lane is he doesn't hold on to the ball very much. It's right up quickly. That's why I use that Antoine Jamison comparison, who used to score. It left his hands in a split second.
Well, Fran, there are a lot of great players in the country. Coming up, you and I are going to start drafting. If you can coach a team and I can coach a team the rest of the college season, we're going to pick our 5 guys we want to coach.
I got some guys I want on my team.
Yeah, I got a coin toss to see who goes first.
NC State leads by 3, 12-9. Jimmy Dykes, we're going to pick a team. We're not talking about future pro potential, just a group of 5 guys that you would want to coach. You flipped a coin.
Since you only carry $20 bills, I'm the only guy that has a quarter. I'm going to call it. I'm going to flip it. You call it.
I'll take heads.
It's tails.
Ooh, okay.
I get the first pick.
Yes, go ahead.
You know what? You and I spent time today at Cameron Indoor. I'm taking my guy, Jabari Parker.
Okay.
He impressed me that much.
He's terrific.
Just in terms of a complete offensive player, you can move him around. He talked extremely well. I thought he was active defensively. He's a better athlete than he was in the spring when I saw him in the Jordan game. I want a guy that I can count on getting 20, 22, 24 points a night. Jabari Parker is my first pick.
Okay, my first pick, I need a team leader. I need a guy who's great defensively, a guy that's used to winning. I'm going to start my team with Marcus Smart of Oklahoma State. Come on, you weren't good. He wasn't lasting to the second round.
I knew. I just had a feeling you're going to go with Marcus Smart.
Parker was #1 on my board.
Can't go wrong with either one of them. So I've got Parker and Smart. Right now they're playing one-on-one. We'll fill in the rest of the team as we go on. Another late clock from Missouri. I'm telling you, they are shooting 50% off 4 seconds or less in late clock on the year. That's an outstanding number.
Let me tell you, this kid Williams, what a rebounder he is. He rebounds like he does. I'm going to let him shoot some jumpers too. Jonathan Williams III. He's got 2 games already as a freshman, 15 rebounds or more. There's the elevator play. There's another young guy like Kyle Washington with that rebound. Another one of those 3 freshmen who are getting a lot of time.
Oh, that's hard to guard now. When he catches that ball on the move, you see how Lewis delivered it to him while he was moving? That's unstoppable. Fran, the timing on this play.
I think this kid is as efficient a scorer as anybody in college basketball. Now, he's averaging 24 points a game, so the numbers speak for themselves. But what I love about it is, you know, Chuck Daly used to say this, Jimmy. What will the player do when the play breaks down? Because the play will break down against good teams.
Yep.
He can go get a basket against any kind of defense.
And he's one of those guys that he can sniff it out. If you can't guard him, he knows he can put up really big numbers on it. The main thing has to be the main thing in this game. For Missouri, that's checking number 24 in white. Right now, NC State with power ball, Fran. They're 6 out of 9 from 2 in this game. Have not made a 3 yet. That's who they are.
That's why Missouri's staying in that matchup zone. A lot of teams have played zone this year against NC State. They're seeing it on about 40% of their possessions. As you see Ralston Turner shaking off that bump. Ralston Turner, the transfer from LSU. Young man from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. You covered him in the SEC.
Yeah, shoot it. They might need him right now with another short clock in this ball game.
See if they recognize it. That's not his strength, boy. But he does so many other things well. You know, Ralston Turner's a great story. Mark Gottfried actually told us he started recruiting him as a freshman in high school. Then he left Alabama. Ralston Turner ended up at LSU with Trent Johnson, decided to transfer, and that Alabama connection brought him to Raleigh. I talked to his mom tonight. He loves being in a basketball state.
Lewis doing a better job of not letting Clarkson get to that right hand. It's a knack is what it is. What do scorers do? They go early they go early to the offensive glass. They don't go late. They make hard cuts. They're good in their first 3 steps in transition like this kid is. He is explosive in transition, his first 3 steps. That's where he beats you. Oh, what a way to close out the year, huh? With Big Ten basketball coming up, doubleheader on Tuesday. Ohio State and Purdue, Indiana and Illinois. Illinois got another win today against UIC. They beat Missouri last week. That bragging rights game in Ohio State. Aaron Kraft. Wonder if he could find our way onto your team or my team before the night's over.
Well, you need a point guard. I've got mine. I've got Marcus Smart.
I've got the next pick, by the way.
Yeah.
to stay in those gaps and keep that defense shrunk, right? If you're Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. Against East Carolina, Wolfpack did a really good job of getting that ball inside, but so far not too much tonight. Yeah. Love this kid. You know what you love about him? He didn't play for 4 years, got himself into great shape, and now he's scoring at the rim and challenging. That time Jordan Vandenberg picked up the foul. Take a look at this right here.
Well, first of all, I think you have to corral Warren up top and not let him turn and start going downhill, because once he goes downhill, it's advantage 24. And really good find and feel by Vandenberg. This kid can really run, first of all. Terrific feet, but then right after the basket by NC State, Missouri again runs it right up your backside. They can get the ball on the defense in a hurry.
I talked to Jordan Clarkson before the game, Jimmy, and we found out that in growing up in San Antonio, one of his buddies in Biddy basketball was Phil Pressey, Missouri's former point guard. There's Vandenberg, the young man from Melbourne, Australia. We talk about all those Aussies every year, Bairstow and Hugh Greenwood out of New Mexico, but this kid's made a difference. But Jordan Clarkson, we were talking before the game, and he said Phil Pressey helped him so much last year because he got up in him every single day. And this guy, I think, has made himself into a terrific point guard prospect.
I agree.
I like his vision, too.
His size, his feel. He shoots it better from distance than people realize, better than his numbers are right now.
That's Ralston Turner just hunting a shot down. He hadn't gotten any lately. There you go. That's what he's out there for.
Yeah, that's the one guy that can do it for him. Shooting 42% on the year. Misses don't bother him. Again, Missouri, after a basket, they get the ball to the rim within 3 or 4 seconds.
NC State up on top. Jordan Vandenberg. You talk about persistence, perseverance, waiting your turn. The fifth-year senior is a factor.
Chris Cotter and Coach Greenberg in studio. UMass and Providence in overtime. Coach Bryce Cotton here going to tie things up.
Bryce Cotton doing a nice job of fading off of that down screen. Knocks down the three.
And then here, UMass with a chance to win it. Trey Davis is going to miss, but there's Derek Gordon.
It's not the first shot. It's the second shot. Put a body on someone. How about those two analysts stepping on each other's toes out there?
Out in Raleigh, back to Jimmy and Fran.
NC State with a touchdown lead during bowl season. NC State on a little bit of a 9-2 run since it was all tied at 12.
Godfrey's got B.J. Anya in the game. One of those. In fact, he's got both freshman bigs, Kyle Washington and B.J. Anya.
Turner's the only guy that needs to stretch that zone defense from Missouri. He's in the top corner right now.
See, I always felt when you attack a zone, you attack it from the paint out. If you're going to rely on that, it's going to be a tough night, even if you make it. Now, that's a guy that shoots under 30% from three, but you cannot live and die with the three. I think you got to play that zone offense from inside out.
Missouri really struggles scoring around the rim in terms of true post-up, and this is the shot you're talking about. This is an emergency three that goes in.
I always felt, Jimmy, if you play me zone, then I've got to make sure, and you play me zone because you don't think I can shoot it or you can't handle my bigs. So that means we have to get the ball in the paint. It's almost psychologically defeating to a team that's going to play zone. And now that's better. By the way, B.J. Anya did a great job on that pick and roll defense. He really strung it out.
And that's what Jabari Brown does best. He's a three-point shooter. He takes it all the way to the rim. There's no middle game out of this guy.
So is he going to be your second pick in the draft?
I'm thinking about it because you already have a point guard. And I don't think you're going to take two.
Yep.
You know what I'm going to take next?
Yeah.
Julius Randle.
You know, I would have taken
Julius Randle as my second guy. So right now I have Parker and Randle, because Randle physically will never be dominated in any college game. He will be the dominator.
Okay. You take Randle. I'm taking Doug McDermott, because I know he's going to get 25 points before he even gets out of bed.
I agree.
So I've got Marcus Smart and McDermott. I reserve the right to play him at the 3 or the 4. Depends on the rest of my lineup.
How about Kentucky today winning that ball game really without Julius Randle the entire second half?
Yep. I thought they grew up today, Kentucky. You know, I wouldn't say they're over the hump, but it was impressive, Jimmy, because they could have cracked at a couple points in the middle of the second half, especially as you point out when Randle went down with those screens.
If there is such thing as a must-win in December, that was it today for Kentucky.
I totally agree. Going into conference play.
That was a win that I think they almost feel like now we could still maybe win this whole thing. They lose that game today against Louisville. There's a lot of doubt heading into conference play.
Well, that's Jonathan Williams with another blocked shot. I love his athleticism.
NC State, Fran, they can't keep letting that happen. If you're a coach right now like Godfrey, you are very concerned about Missouri's ability to run that ball up your backside. Here's what's happened with Syracuse. They remain unbeaten. They're as good as anybody in the country to me. I saw them in Maui. Talked about Kentucky today, Iowa State with all their transfers of Fred Hoiberg. And that's, boy, as a former coach, you lose a guy like that by surprise at semester. What do you do?
Well,
talk about Jerry and Grant.
You know, it's funny. Mike Gray is the perfect guy to be able to absorb this. You remember when they lost Kyle McElharney? They lost Harangody for a time. They lost Tim Abramitis for a whole season. But I always say this, Jimmy. The #1 job description of a college basketball coach, crisis management coordinator.
Yep.
You're always dealing with crisis. Sometimes they're small, and sometimes they're big. Nobody better at handling crisis than Mike Gray. The good news is there's a high likelihood the kid's coming back next year and will be just as good, if not better.
I think maybe the difference, though, this year than those other teams that he managed crisis with, this team is now 8-4. They're not as good as those other teams, and boy, they're getting ready to go through the ACC for the first time. That's a big hit. Kenny Dykes and Fran Fraschilla, just two guys talking ball right now in Raleigh.
Tell you what, we've got some end-to-end action right here. Not a lot of finishing. You're right about Missouri, boy. When they get the defensive rebound or a turnover, they are good in transition.
And not only are they good in transition, 20% of their points on the year comes out of their transition game, and they get fouled 1 out of every 4 trips. The reason why they get fouled, Ross, Brown, Clarkson, all those dudes are 6'5" with size, and when contact occurs, they're getting to the stripe.
Well, it's interesting because watching them on tape, I don't think Ross or Jabari Brown are great ball handlers in the half court, but they're all athletic enough to get out in transition.
Catch it 1 bounce and get to the rim. Missouri's missed their last 7 field goal attempts in this game.
Jordan Clarkson, you know who he reminds me of? If there was an NBA guy, to me he's like a George Hill. George Hill is 6'4", scoring point guard at IUPUI, similar body build.
Missouri is better defensively this year because Missouri is better at the point guard spot.
Yeah.
Bill Presley was, for all the good things he did, he's only 5'10" and was really exposed on the defensive end. Clarkson's defensive numbers are terrific. The guy he's guarding so far this year is shooting 29%. Outstanding defensive numbers.
And by the way, Missouri staying in that zone. It morphs into a matchup. Tuesday night, ESPN2 brings you a triple header, Jimmy Dykes. The American Athletic Conference. Starting at 5, Louisville and UCF. Then Memphis at South Florida, followed by UConn going to Hot Pints Pavilion, a place you played in your days at Arkansas. They'll take on the Houston Cougars. And Memphis, a team that I saw knock off Oklahoma State a couple weeks ago in Orlando. Talk about a plethora of guards.
I need a point guard. Shabazz Napier is one of the two that I'm considering right now.
Well, he was on my list. Good look inside. Desmond Lee.
The ability to score the ball around the rim.
Yep.
You have to do it if you're going to win any type of a conference championship or make a run in March. And again, Warren, that's not a play call. That's a guy making a play. He actually boxed off as an offensive guy if his shot went up and got himself in the catch position.
You know what I like best about that play from a coach's standpoint? Where'd the ball go? The ball went from the perimeter to the lane, and then Lee made that dish. I'm telling you, when you attack zones, you attack it from the paint out. You get so many better perimeter looks when you can play the game at the rim against the zone.
If I'm Frank Haith, the concern with T.J. Warren, he's one of those guys that from the opening tip, he expects he's going to get 20, and anything over that is bonus. But he's expecting to get 20. He's already has 13 tonight. These guys are hard to guard, man. They're dangerous.
Hard to guard. You want to patent that.
I think I might hashtag it at least. Well, Frank's trying to keep some size in his area, but
you know what Jordan Clarkson did there? He knew he had Tyler Lewis on him, who's probably a $160, and he just took him right to the rim. He made Tyler Lewis foul him because there's no way he could have got back around in front.
You go back and watch the last 3 or 4 ball games from NC State. As soon as Lewis checks in, they almost isolate him and go right at him.
That's why it's amazing in recruiting lists. T.J. Warren was like probably 80, 85. Rodney Purvis was a McDonald's All-American. Tyler Lewis, after a great career at Oak Hill Academy where they went 44-0.
How about Missouri for that free throws drive? I didn't think they missed one, but they have. They're now 10 out of 11.
And that's just an errant pass. Derek Lee trying to cut to the basket. When you attack that zone, you got to move the ball a couple sides. Stretch him out. Make him play 50 feet, sideline to sideline. Let's see if they say, I would isolate Clarkson again. I wouldn't even ball screen Clarkson. There's the post up. And a steal.
That was really good late recovery speed and anticipation by Lewis when he was going to get whipped on the post up. He was almost forced to be a gambler defensively because if Clarkson catches it there, it's going to be 2 points.
You know what amazes me about coaching sometimes? Dance with who brung you. There's no way Tyler Lewis is going to stay in front of Jordan Clarkson in a perimeter situation.
Right.
So why not isolate him again? Just open up the floor for him.
Yeah, I don't even think you need a ball screen for him. Just one-on-one, let Clarkson go to work right here. Just get out of his way and let him play.
By the way, Tyler Lewis did force him left there.
Or the patience in Missouri's half-court offense when NC State does cover the ball screen is something that Frank Haith needs to talk about because Mark's guys have done a nice job adjusting since the first couple of minutes.
Chris Cotter in studio. Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report, Seth Greenberg on why Kentucky's backcourt proved to be the difference in the Battle of the Commonwealth. And old school Big East fans enjoyed a little Nova Syracuse and a big comeback. Highlights coming up at the half. Until then, back to Jimmy and Fran in Raleigh.
NC State leads by 6. Jimmy Dykes. Missouri 0 for their last 8. If there's one area I've been impressed with NC State tonight, especially compared to early in the season, is their half-court defense.
I think they have 5 guys that are, first of all, they're tougher. They're together. They're playing as one this season where they didn't last year. They had a couple of guys that just weren't interested in playing defense. That's what he does. Again, he's going to shoot a 3 or take it all the way to the rim.
It's actually a good challenge by the 7'1" Vandenberg. Tough shot maker.
We weren't in the huddle, but you know Frank Cave pulled his guys, the same thing we're talking about. We've missed our last 8 shots. The next shot I want is have to be near the basket.
How about Warren again? And another dish by Desmond Lee. If you let the ball get that deep versus the zone, you can pretty much get what you want in a lane.
And if you don't get a body on Warren and make him work, he's going to get 30. He's already got 15 in this game.
Ross can light it up. He and Jabari Brown do a nice job, Jimmy, of playing off of Clarkson. I mean, how many teams in the country have 3 6'5" guards? By the way, all 3 are transfers.
And all 3 they can play. Yeah. All 3 guys are capable of getting 20 points, and they have gone over the 20-point mark this year. And Ross is on Warren, and he cannot, for a split second, lose the kid. Warren has missed all 3, I believe, of his 3-point shots, and they don't look good at all coming off of his hand.
How about this, Jimmy? 79% of shots he makes at the rim. He makes 39% of his 2-point jumpers, those lane floaters. Yep. And he makes under 30% from behind the arc.
Yeah, it's now probably around 20%.
It's gone down.
It's gone down. Start off at 25. He's missed 3, so.
But I'll tell you what, I'll let him shoot a few threes if I'm this guy, Mark Godfrey, as long as he keeps scoring in the lane. His dad, Tony, played at NC State, graduated in '79. There's the numbers. It's been a heavy dose of T.J. Warren. He scores. He takes 34% of their shots when he's on the floor.
It's been that way all season. That's what this team is. One star surrounded by good college players that have bought into their role.
Oh, nice. I love when the ball goes into the lane. And this kid is a good passer. They've had their most success tonight against the zone when they put the ball either in the lane off the dribble or off the pass. Good catch, good cut by Desmond Lee. Desmond Lee, Jimmy, has been the catalyst for some really good zone offense tonight. Those 2 dishes inside to Warren, and then the cut off the post right there.
You know, Jabari Brown made a mistake. The ball was thrown to the post, and he didn't stay between his guy and the basket. It's almost a little bit like when you're guarding a Princeton offense when you're taking on NC State, because they are so heavy on hard basket cuts. You have to take that away and make them run through your chest. Brown didn't do it. The guy ends up right at the rim.
And as good as their zone has been, I'm not sure if that's their bread and butter. They're playing it tonight because everybody's played NC State zone. It's just a simple basketball play. Tell you what, Tyler Lewis has not been exploited really very much so far. Nice pass. Ernest Ross came off that curl cut. He just wrapped that ball around.
Missouri will go to their, what I call their power offense sometime, with those 2 posts just sitting at that mid-post level, and those 3 guards just take turns curling off of it.
And they're running their man offense right here. They ran the UCLA offense. Take a look, Jimmy. You like this cut right here. He had great vision right here, Ernest Ross.
This is their power game. Just the big guys do a good job. They stay at the mid-post level so they can curl coming towards the elbow, or if you overcrowd it, they can backdoor cut on it. Jordan Clarkson now with his 2nd foul. Talking about your best defender on the perimeter, your guy that is your best pick-and-roll player. He's shooting 48% off the pick-and-roll action this year, Clarkson, and he will set the remaining 142 of this half. Fran, we talked about transfers. Well, Frank Hayes done a good job of identifying guys when they come in. And that's not always an easy process. I looked this week at DeMontre Harris being dismissed from Florida before he ever played a game. He transferred from South Carolina. And I like what Billy Donovan said, that maybe DeMontre Harris, maybe he can find a place where he can play the game on his terms. Billy Donovan, if you play for him, you're going to play it on Billy Donovan's terms. And it's a gamble when you take in a transfer. And I think you have to be very clear in your meeting. This is your second chance, and it's going to be on my terms and nobody else's. You've had transfers.
Yeah, and you know what? Who's done it better this year than Fred Hoiberg at Iowa State? You know, he's made a living off of guys, basically last chance guys. You know, even that play by Vandenberg right there made sure that they weren't going to get the easy one at the rim.
But they were 2-2. NC State was this year without Vandenberg. A kid that really for his career he didn't play. He played 7 minutes as a freshman per game, 9 minutes as a sophomore, then 11 as a redshirt junior year. But you know what? Since then, they now have a rim protector. You go back and look at those games that NC State lost, like NC Central, they just drove it.
Yeah.
Just drove it because NC State had no one to protect that rim.
You know, you and I have known Mark Gottfried a long time. In the 2 years he was here at NC State prior to this season, I don't think he ever mentioned Jordan Vandenberg to me about a guy that's going to play a lot. The kid got himself in shape. It's his last opportunity, and it's paid off.
Another thing a big guard can do for you.
Yep, Jabari Brown. Tell you what, Ross took the shot. Jabari Brown just floated into the lane. The advantage of those big guards.
Frank Hayes has a timeout in his pocket. He didn't like what he sees right now.
And that's a freshman right there. They should have been in a last shot type situation. Wesley Clark threw a pass up the floor that there's no way Ernest Ross could have caught with one hand.
That's where that's where if Jordan Clarkson's in the ball game right now without 2 fouls, that play doesn't happen. NC State up by 2. Fran, let's make our third pick of our 5-man team right now.
Man, Andrew Wiggins is still waiting there for me, Jimmy. You know, he's very enticing. But I'm thinking Aaron Gordon, Wiggins, or Embiid. I think I'm gonna take a gamble. I'm playing for March. I'm gonna take Joel Embiid and put him at the center spot. The way he's come on for Kansas, a little bit of a reach right now, but I'm going to go with Embiid. I think Marcus Smart will really make him a great defender too by the time we're done.
I think in March, Embiid may be as impactful as anybody in the college game around that rim on both ends. I need a point guard. I'm taking Aaron Craft.
Okay.
Because I don't trust anyone in college ball any more than Aaron Craft in every area. I want my lead guard to be someone that I trust 24 hours a day with all of his decisions. Craft is my guy.
Watch the ball screen here. That's usually the case.
And watch T.J. Warren at some point getting his hands back on this ball. Well, they let him get loose. Missouri has never led in this ball game, Fran Fraschilla, and NC State's biggest lead was 10. Our one-on-one guys have played pretty well, especially T.J. Warren. He's scoring and he's boarding. Clarkson with foul trouble. Let's check in with the studio, huh?
Let's get back to Chris and Seth. Break it down for us, guys. We're having fun out here. Just talking ball.
Land Rover halftime report. Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg here in studio. Boy, we had a Titanic battle earlier on in the day. Rick Pitino, John Calipari, Louisville, and Kentucky. First half, Andrew Harrison was going to drive and score. Then off the inbounds pass, James Young, who had a phenomenal game with the steal and miss. But here's Julius Randle.
Julius Randle cleaning up the mess. He had 17 in the first half. And the Harrison twins, as a team, did a great job of handling the full court pressure of Louisville.
Well, there's Rusticulous, and you know he's going to get his. 2 of his 19. And Louisville was down just 5 at the half. Second half tied at 45. James Young drives in the alley-oop to Alex Poitras, who had a good game off.
Alex Poitras siding. Julius Randle gets injured. Alex Poitras steps in, makes up big plays down the stretch.
Young had 4 assists, 18 points, and 10 rebounds. Then Andrew Harrison drives, baseline, spins. He had a fantastic game and won.
Andrew Harrison and Aaron Harrison played with great pace, great poise, and great purpose.
There's Aaron Harrison finishing off here. Kentucky goes on to win 73-66. Chris Cotter and Seth Greenberg. Shane Bohannon, 0 points in this game. And the front court in general for Louisville really outplayed, weren't they?
They were outplayed. I thought it was the length of the Kentucky front court, the length of the Kentucky basketball team, their size, their strength, but their ability to recover, the ability to make plays at the rim, and also get to the offensive glass. 17 offensive rebounds. Here, watch. Russ Smith gets the split, but Willie Cauley-Stein stays in the play and affects the shot. And then on the offensive glass, the ability to use your length to extend possessions. Willie Cauley-Stein does a nice job of fighting the block out, stays with the play, extends the play, keeps the ball high, and finishes. The length of Kentucky was a difference.
Yeah, when you look at how tall Kentucky is, for what it's worth, just when you talk about tallest teams by average height, there are the Wildcats right there at the very top of the list. So they have that length and they have that height, and they forced the Cardinals up to the outside. I mean, they took 26 three-point shots, only made 6 of them Louisville. So ultimately, that proved to be the difference in the game.
Yeah, that was the difference in the game. And if I'm Louisville, I have some concerns. Where's Gorgie Zhang? You know, where's Peyton Siva? Where's the guy that protects the front of the rim? And where's the guy that manages the game? But on the other hand, if I'm Calipari, I'm pretty excited about my basketball team. And the reason I'm excited is because we're getting better. We're defending with a purpose. We're sharing the ball. And the big question coming into the game, Chris, was would the Harrison twins be able to handle the pressure of Louisville? I thought they did a terrific job.
Yeah, so Kentucky gets the win in another notch. They've actually played some pretty good teams and have some pretty solid wins along the way. Certainly a win against Louisville is one of them. All right, for all you old school Big East fans out there, you got Syracuse and Nova coming up. We'll show you highlights at the half. Come on.
This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond.
Cotter and Greenberg, Land Rover halftime report. The always dapper Jay Wright and Villanova taking on Syracuse, an old school Big East clash. And first half, Villanova in transition and really coming out on fire. Ryan Arcidiacono finds Josh Stewart, 25-7 Nova.
Long shots, long rebounds, got Villanova out in transition.
All right, then Trevor Cooney's going to hit the three from the ring. Syracuse coming back down by 5, under 5.5, all tied at 25. And Tyler Ennis, you really like the way this backcourt's coming together.
Tyler Ennis doing a terrific job changing direction, changing speeds. This backcourt's developing into one of the elite backcourts in college basketball.
Tavon Pinkston is going to hit the three to beat the clock here. Villanova down just 2 at the half after having the big lead. Second half, though, Ennis drives, misses there. C.J. Fair, the putback slam, Syracuse up 10, and then Cooney hitting the deep three.
Trevor Cooney moves without the basketball, gets shot ready, knocks down the big three.
Syracuse up 6. Ennis finds Jeremy Grant. That's Mumu, right?
Jeremy Mumu Grant, and Ennis sees all 5 defenders, reads the defense, makes the right play.
All right, I mentioned it was 25-7 at one point in time, Villanova. At that point in time, there were 31 minutes of game time left. Here's what happened in those final 31 minutes. Syracuse took complete control in Blue Doors as the game progressed. Providence and UMass, one of the surprise teams. Maybe one of the surprise teams, ranked 23rd in the country. Chaz Williams, if you hadn't seen him play, he is spectacular. UMass trailing by a deuce. Maxi Esho picks Bryce Cotton's pocket, ties it at 15 here, Coach.
This is a long, mature UMass basketball team. They've got a toughness about it.
Here's Williams going to miss the layup, but Esho is right here with the putback slam. A lot of putback slams on this day.
When you get penetration, you get the defense in rotation. When the defense is rotation, you can get to the offensive glass.
All right, second half, Providence down at deuce. Bryce Cotton, if you don't know who this kid is, you better know, right?
Bryce Cotton is the go-to guy for the Friars.
High Cotton ties it at 59 rather. Overtime, Bryce Cotton drills the three to tie it at 67, and then UMass with one final shot.
UMass, a little bit of penetration, but it's not the first shot that beats you. It's the second. Put a body on someone.
Eric Gordon making the putback, and UMass wins by a deuce. They're 11-1. Eastern Michigan taking on Coach K and Duke. First half, Tyler Thornton. Talk about putback jams. The lob to Jabari Parker. This was a dunk fest all day.
When you play against the zone, you always try to get someone behind the defense. Jabari Parker's a pretty good guy to be behind the defense.
And if you need to take it outside, Andre Dawkins can nail the three. Quinn Cook, the lob to Parker here. Parker had 23 points, 10 of them on dunks. No problem for Duke on this day. Michigan State and New Orleans. Tom Izzo, they're going to keep his team on track. Adrian Payne off the steal, gets it to Keith Appling, to Harris with the hoop in the harm.
Ooh, Keith Appling playing as well as any point guard in the country. He had 27 points on 10 shots. More importantly, he had 8 assists.
And defense leading to offense. Harris again with the deuce, 101-48 for the Spartans. Here's some other scores again. You know, teams going out of conference around the holidays. Coach, you're probably...
They're called guaranteed games, and they're guarantees for a reason. They're a guaranteed win because you know what? Next week, league play starts.
Not such a guaranteed win for Gonzaga right now on the U.
That's a conference game right there, big boy.
Up by just 5 over Santa Clara.
This halftime report is presented by Land Rover. Above and beyond. Welcome back to the Land Rover Halftime Report.
Land Rover Halftime, Cotter and Greenberg bowl season in full effect. Well, Miami and Louisville. And this is Teddy Bridgewater who finds Devontae Parker. This combination is lethal, and this has been a showcase for Teddy Bridgewater on the day. 16-2 at that point. Here in the second quarter, Bridgewater finds Michael Lee Harris.
Best quarterback in the country?
Well, he's playing like it tonight. Over 300 yards passing already, and they're midway through the third quarter. That game's over on ESPN right now. Louisville with the lead, but Miami's coming back a little bit. Earlier today, Notre Dame, no problem with Rutgers, 29-16, although that game was close in the fourth quarter. Not so close, North Carolina with a 39-17 win over Cincinnati in the Belk Bowl. Well, Bill O'Brien, rumored to be maybe heading to the Houston Texans. According to a league source, the two sides are working on a deal they might be able to get in place by next week. Coach O'Brien met with the Texans this week after Christmas at his home in Cape Cod. Don't forget about this new SportsCenter app. Get close to all the action, blazing fast scores, the hottest news and highlights, alerts, access to all of us 24/7 via Twitter. You can download the new SportsCenter app easily, calling *SC from your phone. What to watch for coming up next, 10 o'clock Eastern, right here on The Deuce. UCLA hosting Alabama. UCLA undefeated at home this season. Alabama has lost 7 of its 9 non-conference road games. So the Tide can turn things around a little bit there on the road. TJ Warren doesn't have to turn anything around. He's had a great first half, 15-7, staking the Wolfpack to a 2-point lead. Second half tip on the
Welcome back to the ACC on ESPN, where NC State's up 32-30 on Missouri at halftime. And Fran, our guy TJ Warren, has been power basketball. Reason they have the lead.
Hard to find a guy more efficient, Jimmy. 15 feet and in this year. All 7 of his field goals in the first half. He's got a total of 15. Came near the painted area. Really impressed with him.
And Jordan Clarkson from Missouri got to the free throw stripe 6 times. They did a good job of adjusting and forcing him left late in the second half. He didn't pick up his second foul, but then Vandenberg again. This is an NC State team that is undefeated this year with Jordan Vandenberg on the floor.
Cat Barber's back in. He only played 6 minutes in that first half with 2 fouls, and NC State did not get a lot of transition baskets when he was out of the game.
You know what, Tyler Lewis held his own now. He played 14 minutes and really didn't get exposed defensively.
Well, you know what, my big thing with him is Desmond Lee knocks down another 3. That's his 3rd tonight.
You know, he made three-point shots in junior college, has struggled with his three-point shots so far this season, but 2 big ones in this game.
Yeah, but I don't think Tyler Lewis gives you the offensive firepower, the opportunity to get easy baskets that Cat Barber can. You see the young man, McDonald's All-American at a Hampton High School.
You know what's a couple of things that are unique about him to me. He's both quick and fast. Some guys are one or the other. He's quick and fast, and I think he's got really good control over his speed. I'm not sure if he's the quickest rim to rim, which I'm not sure any of us know who the quickest is rim to rim in college. Bob, I've heard that statement before. So-and-so's the quickest guy. Have we ever lined everybody up and said on your mark, get set, go?
No.
So we don't know for sure.
No, we're just
guessing.
I want to finish that story on Cat Barber that Mark Godfrey told us. He had a concussion first day of practice, which means the doctors, there's a tie-up. That ball's going to stay here with Missouri. But Jimmy, think about it. Well, I like that. You know what I love about Desmond Lee? Last year's NC State team was soft, talented and soft. This guy brings that JUCO toughness. His big thing, he's excited when you supersize the meal at McDonald's. You know,
absolutely.
You know, he gets excited about little things, getting a chance to come home and play in the ACC. This guy, you know, he's 23 years old. He didn't come right out of high school. He was supposed to go to UTEP. Went to a prep school for a year. UTEP didn't work out. And I don't know if you've ever been to Hobbs, New Mexico.
I have.
It's not the end of the world.
Going on. You got to guard this guy off out of bounds.
It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. You see Ernest Ross with the foul. That guy should be playing for Gus Malzahn or
the tight end.
Somebody like that.
The second foul.
Gary Pinkel at Missouri. Sick of Ernest days at Auburn.
Missouri back in their man-to-man. They were at least 60% zone in the first half. Coming in this year, in this ball game, Missouri's played a lot of zone so far. Again, Fran, that has to irritate the heck out of Mark Godfrey. 5 or 6 times down this game. 4 or 5 of them after a make and 2 or 3 of them after a miss. Missouri just runs it right to the rim without any resistance. And this is a Missouri team. This is where they thrive. They are a transition-heavy team, and they get fouled at a high rate in transition.
You know what you notice about that replay? If I don't see 5 guys staring at me in the camera with NC State on the front, it means they had to get everybody back and build that wall. They had 3 guys back.
And a key 3rd foul on Jordan Vandenberg. Now the rim protection is not quite as strong.
You know, it's interesting because B.J. Anya, the freshman from DeMatha, he's blocked 10 shots the last 2 games. He hasn't been much of a factor tonight, but he has the ability to be so. This young man that's lost 30 pounds since he's arrived in Raleigh. And you know how good the barbecue is down there.
Mark Godfrey told him that he lost a 4th grader. A small 4th grader, but still he lost a 4th grader.
You've been playing with a 4th grader on your back.
Or T.J. Warren. He's tracking 30. He's got 17. He's a hungry, wired guy. And again, he can smell it. Yeah. He can sniff it. That if Missouri doesn't have someone right now that says, Coach, I'm going to check this guy. Let me have him. Stay close to all the action wherever you are with the new SportsCenter app. Blazing fast scores, the hottest news and highlights and analysis, and access to your favorite SportsCenter talent 24/7 via Twitter. You can download the new SportsCenter app by calling *SC from your phone.
Back to that matchup zone, Jim. When P.J. Warren almost caught that again, you know he was going to lay it in. I want to get back to Cat Barber because as a point guard, He missed 9 games with a concussion. It wasn't like he had a sprained ankle where he could watch practice every day. The doctors told him, no stimulation. You need to go to your room, get to a quiet place. And so all the little things that they taught first 9 days of practice,
he missed.
He missed. And he's a point guard.
Yeah.
So he's come a long way in a couple of months.
He's played really well. Undefeated as that starting point guard. He's good with both hands. Tyler Ennis is the best freshman point guard in the country. One of the best point guards overall. I'd have him in the top 3 or 4. This kid's having a heck of a year as a true freshman point guard. He's going to lead a team through the ACC.
I like their freshman bigs. Freeman, Anya, Washington. Barber's a freshman. Nice look inside by Jonathan Williams. Again,
Fran, it's those 3 big guards. They just need one mismatch.
Yep.
Either a size mismatch or a quickness mismatch, and they expose you.
But you and I could have made that layup.
Yeah,
off that feed.
Good hard rim cut. Both these teams are very good at scoring the ball. I call it the power part of the floor. At 6 to 8 foot radius around that rim. You can't do it, you're not going to win meaningful ball games.
Now you got to swing this to the other side.
Well, he's made a couple, but that's not what he's done so far this year. Been a driver, talking about lead.
That ball went to the side of the floor opposite of TJ Warren. He never touched it. He doesn't have to shoot it every time, but you better get him some touches. Like right now. There you see that zone. It starts in a 2-3. It morphs. Sometimes it's a 3-2.
And Fran, I'm telling you, they will go to man-to-man at certain parts out of it. You just can't let him get loose. This is just crazy how many times Missouri has done this in the game.
Yeah, and it's been dribble penetration by guys like Cat Barber. NC State, Jimmy Dykes starting to stretch it just a little bit.
They would stretch it more if they'd run the defense a little quicker. Back in Raleigh, NC State up 39-34, led by TJ Warren. Fred, this is a guy that, for a 6'8 guy, it's unique how he moves without the basketball. You break down his game on synergy. He's heavy in transition, and he's heavy on hard cuts to the rim, and he's doing it so far in this game.
Well, what I like about NC State versus the Missouri zone is you get to put your players where you want to attack the zone from, And take a look right here. They put Cat Barber. Now look, he's stuck. Rossberg stuck on him. Barber drives it versus the zone, and he finds Warren. You know Warren's going to finish it. You can play me zone, but I get to decide where I put my best attackers versus your zone, and that's what happened on that particular play.
But on the road, I want to go the inside on the paint coming out of a timeout.
But if you're
those are body blows. But Missouri, how do they do it? They drive the ball more. That's what they do. That's how they get it near the rim.
There they go.
Well done. See, I love that coming out of the timeout. You don't settle for a jump shot. You put the fannies back in the seats and you deliver a body blow at the rim.
You think Jonathan Williams, who scored that last basket, is getting the kind of recognition that maybe he deserves? When you talk about a guy that's already rebounded 15 or more rebounds in a game twice. I love that kid.
You know, he gets overshadowed by the scoring of those 3 guards, but you're right. This is not a top 25 team without Williams getting those boards.
Guess who just scored off the tip?
Wow, is that 21 now for T.J. Warren?
All right, Jimmy, who's taking? Who do you got?
This is my 4th pick?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you 4.
You know what? I need somebody to match up with Joel Embiid.
Yep.
I'm taking Willie Cauley-Stein.
You take him. I'll take Aaron Gordon at my 4 spot. How's that?
And this is only picking a team that we would want to coach the rest of the year in college ball, not based upon NBA potential. Yep. What 5 guys would we want to coach from here on out?
So I got Marcus Smart, McDermott, Aaron Gordon, and Joel Embiid. I need one more perimeter guy, buddy. And I get the next pick, right? I like it. Kyle Washington, one of those freshmen. Anya and Washington on the floor right now. Freeman as well. 3 good, big, young guys who are not going anywhere, Jimmy. They're going to be here for 4 years.
And nothing should change for Missouri on this possession. Take the ball to the rim. That is so good on the road. The home team just got a momentum basket. The crowd's into it, and you don't come down and take a first side of the floor jump shot. You drive it right into the teeth of the defense. And
there's an inside look first by Kyle Washington. And then why would you let him get to the right hand? I could see why. You had a freshman out there hedging on the ball screen.
Yeah, it wasn't much contact by Cat Barber, but it was his 3rd foul. And now Cat Barber's going to sit, and Tyler Lewis, the pressure is on him now to come back in and hold his own defensively like he did the first half. You know, Fran, the really, really good players, no matter what you do to them defensively, they find a way to get to their spot. And Jordan Clarkson has some of that in. His spot is with a right hand off the ball screen. And he finds a way to get there.
Well, he's leading the SEC in scoring right now.
I thought that was a lane violation. It's like Missouri fell in the lane.
Let's see.
Those guys on the lane can break the plane when the shot's released. I think it looked worse than it was.
But did they call it?
No, they did not. They counted the basket. Once the shot goes.
Man, I think what Pat Adams might be saying is he didn't touch the ground until.
But he did not.
Yeah.
The rule, though, is breaking the plane.
Yeah. I think they got away with one.
Special situations, those baseline out-of-bounds plays in close games.
Nobody ever runs plays to score anymore off those inbounds.
You know who was great at that?
Yeah.
Coach Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
He was outstanding.
He was
defending baseline out of bounds, taking it away from you, and scoring baseline out of bounds.
Yeah, they were really hard to get it in. Who was the transfer they had from Iowa that was always on the ball? The young man that came home.
Yeah, they would get at least one a game, maybe a 5-second counter, force you to take a timeout. There he is.
He's not going to miss that very often, T.J. Warren. That's point blank right there. He's been making them all night.
It's another guy that he gets to his spot. What is his spot? It's 15 feet and in. Got a little bit of a contact, and those are the ones he's going to make those 9 out of 10 times.
But you know what? So few teams even try to score off inbounds plays anymore. We saw Duke get trapped in a corner today and had to call a timeout in a game over at Cameron Indoor Stadium. All you got to do is step the point guard to the baseline, and he would have been wide open.
How about our day? Missouri shoot around for an hour.
Yep.
The Duke game. Come back to watch NC State shoot around. Go to the hotel, watch Kentucky-Louisville, and now here we are. That's a pretty good day.
As Jimmy V used to say, it's a heck of a day.
That was a bad pass in transition. Missouri's awfully clean in their transition game.
Let's see if these young bigs can defend the screen and roll. Well, that was soft defense right there. You know what? How about the big fella? He's made a couple plays tonight. Rosberg.
Yeah.
Rosberg has made a couple of plays where he's just got offensive rebounds and thrown it right back out.
Fran, there it is again. I like what Missouri's done the last couple of minutes on the road. They continue with their power game. There's a screen by Rosberg up top. And the big shoulder strength of Ernest Ross to curl off of it. When Clarkson's not on the floor, Jabari Brown needs to be getting a touch within every possession. 32 right there. He's their second leading scorer. He's averaging 18 a game. You go a couple of possessions without him touching it and Clarkson's not on the floor, you're asking for trouble.
Well, I'll keep this simple. You know why they got that curl? You got two freshman big guys out there that don't step up in the lane and use the body. And that'll show up on the film. If I'm chasing my man off that screen, I better get help from the screener's man. And you didn't see that from NC State on that possession. Now Barber's got 3 fouls, so he's right back in. I like this move by Mark Godfrey. No reason to save him down the stretch. Let's see if Missouri stays in that zone again. I think they've gone. You always got a way to pass or two with them, as you said.
Yeah,
they'll change up.
It's man right now.
Yep.
And normally when they do change within the possession, they start zone and go man. I don't like that shot.
I've seen them only do it after timeouts. You know, where they'll show it. You think it's one defense?
Yep.
Shift into the other.
They did it against Illinois a couple of times on the fly. But normally you're right. It's after
There's that curl again. Here comes another one. I think they call this circle. All right, Jimmy Dykes. I need one more, right? I need a scorer. I need a scorer. I'm thinking Nick Stauskas. But you know what? I'm gonna go Nick Stauskas. I'm going Nick Stauskas.
I'm gonna go. That was my shooter. You just stole my. Are you sure it was your pick?
Yeah.
It was time for your pick.
Yeah. You can. I got my college team set now. I got Marcus Smart at the point, Embiid to anchor. You got Gary Harris waiting there for you.
Yeah, I'm looking at Harris still. If he's healthy.
He'll be healthy.
I'm going to trust that Gary Harris is going to get healthy and start playing like one of the top 2 guards in the country. I'll take Gary Harris.
All right, we're done. And with that, Jordan Clarkson back in the game.
And neither team can get that 6-8-0 spurt.
You know what?
Separation.
NC State doesn't have a second scorer. That's going to be their Achilles heel this year. How about this guy?
They may not need one if he gets 30, because he's tracking 30 right now. T.J. Warren with 24.
They don't need one in conference play, but he will carry his yeoman's share of the scoring. I like the hustle by Washington. Good defense by Cat Barber. Never used his hands.
And Fran, this is a game that a true freshman point guard on the road like Wes Clark, his first time, the game is getting too fast for him right now. Not too fast for T.J. Warren.
How about
he
this?
plays with pace, he plays with poise. Not a great shooter, but a shot maker at big time.
Chris Cotter, Seth Greenberg in studio over on ESPNU. Out west, you got Santa Clara giving Gonzaga all they can handle. Here, David Stockton finding Pregame Karnowski, the great Karnowski. It's only a 4-point lead right now for Gonzaga. Coming up next, Coach Kyle Anderson. What do you think about his
Kyle
team?
Anderson, I call him mini magic, almost averaging a triple-double.
Yeah, big shoes to fill right there. 36 minutes away from Alabama, UCLA here on the Deuce. Guy?
Welcome back. NC State up 46-41. T.J. Warren is tracking 30 points in this game. Already 24. He's 11 out of 20 from the field. He's made 1 3. That's not his strength, but we just saw it going to break. He's the kind of guy that just has a way to knock one in at key times. Also has 11 boards, Fran. He is doing big boys work in this game.
When they played East Carolina last Saturday, Mark Gottfried looked at the box score at halftime. He went, ooh, he's got 25 already. He does it quietly and efficiently. Another rebound. That's his 12th rebound tonight. You know what I like about that? They ran a jump shot play to get Ralston Turner going. Didn't knock it down, got a good look.
You know what, I'm going to say conservatively 20 of his 24 points haven't been a play call for him. It's been him making a hard cut, making a read, getting an offensive rebound, running down a loose ball, scoring in transition. A guy that he's got a knack. He has 6 offensive rebounds in this game.
What will the player do when the play breaks down? Because the play will break down. That's what the great scorers do. Make something out of nothing. Oh, go right to him again. They had him on the block. And he's got Clarkson on him.
Even Missouri's man should be packed in. I like that kid. You talked about him earlier, but he's got a lot of pep about him. Lefty, he's skilled. He's got a big upside as a scorer.
Well, he plays with energy. All these big kids, Freeman, number 10, Washington, all these freshmen play with energy. They're coachable. A little different, maybe some people would say, from a year ago.
You know, Frank, Kyle Washington Day at the shoot-around for NC State. He was subbed in. He was watching the first team run through the scouting report, and then he was subbed in. As soon as he stepped on the floor, he started talking. He talked all the action. You can't do the action if you can't talk the action. But this kid's got a motor. I mean, they went on the road at Tennessee, and Washington and Anya, they went right out to older guys in Stokes and Maimon. But I loved how this kid, he's got a lot of fight, he's got a lot of confidence, and he talked as a true freshman in the shoot-around. Loud and early and constant, and that's a good sign going forward for Mark Gottfried.
First time I remember Kyle Washington, it was at the Nike LeBron Skills Academy. He's playing the exact same way. What I like about him and Freeman, the 2 freshmen, they're what I call no mistake guys. In other words, they may not have prolific night scoring, but you can stick them out there in your defense. Look at this. And they're not going to make mistakes.
Jimmy Dykes along with Fran Fraschilla in Raleigh, North Carolina, where Missouri trying to fight back in this ball game on the road against NC State.
Boy, Jimmy, how many times tonight has Missouri, even off a made free throw or a basket, gotten up the court in transition, got to the rim?
At least 10 times.
Yeah. How about the big guy?
He's just got another guy that just comes with a lot of confidence. Doesn't try to overthink it. Catch the ball, get the ball up on the rim, and own your spot. And that's what this young kid does. What has Missouri done in this spot so far this game? They've driven the ball to the paint. They have not settled for a jump shot.
I think it's going to hurt them this year not being able to throw it inside to a post-up player. There's Rosberg again, Jimmy. He blocked his own shot with the backboard. There's a little bit of freshman countenance, if you will. Maturity. Barber just pulled it out. Run the offense.
That's his next step as a game manager. In high school, he just played with his hair on fire and could just outscore you and blow by you.
Oh, he's feeling it, Washington. How about Washington? Kyle Washington.
Kyle Washington is a little undisciplined at times. But right now, the motor is cranking high for 32 in white.
close out the year with the Big Ten college basketball doubleheader on Tuesday. Jimmy Dykes starting at 1. Ohio State led by Aaron Craft, Shannon Scott in the backcourt. They'll take on Purdue. And then at 3, Indiana. Freshman Noah Vonleh, I really like. And Illinois, a team that you just saw knock off this Missouri team.
This young man right here has scored the last 6 points for NC State. He doesn't overthink the game. He gets in the scoring spot against the man-or zone, catches it. He owns his spot, catches the ball, and gets the ball up on the rim. And at times he will make some plays as a freshman that make you think, maybe not so much. But right now he's playing with a lot of confidence, and the reason why NC State's tied their biggest lead.
Boy, Rosberg, that is another offensive rebound by Rosberg, and that leads to the 3 by Jordan Clarkson. We haven't talked much tonight about Ryan Rosberg, the sophomore from St. Louis, but he's done a great job with dirty work.
There's a UCLA high post cut that Mark Gottfried still has in his back pocket since his days at UCLA. Again, just another creative way to get the ball near the rim for high percentage shots. This is the best team in the country, NC State, in terms of the percentage of points they score from 2.
Oh, man. They're very fortunate right there because Leonard Freeman showed way too much. But this guy said, nope, not on my watch. Not tonight, Jimmy Dykes. What do you think, buddy?
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2014 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award.
And NC State's got to stay after Jordan Clarkson because, again, he's the kind of guy that's going to get to his spot, just like that last possession. Come out with a ball screen. They try to bump him out, try to knock him out towards half court. But watch out here. You step out a little too far, boom. A 6'5" guy gets a low dribble. I thought it was a power drive, and he tried to finesse finish it maybe a little bit with one hand, but a great block with the left hand going at a right-handed shooter, Clarkson, by Washington. Probably following the scouting report, but I think if Clarkson had gone with 2, he had a better chance of at least getting fouled by the rim.
And what I liked about Kyle Washington right there is he stayed vertical the entire time.
He did.
He went straight up. He made Clarkson come to him. Really impressive last 5 minutes by the freshman Kyle Washington.
Jordan Clarkson, the leading scorer in the SEC, only 3 out of 12 so far in this game. NC State's defense has been pretty dialed in on this guy, but they better stay after him the last 7.5.
That's a better job by Vandenberg. Didn't let him split that trap.
And really all you want to do to a kid like Clarkson is disrupt that on-ball screen.
Jimmy, I like this kid, Jonathan Williams. That's another strong move to the basket.
His 11th point in this ball game. Double figures on the road as a freshman. Well, that's when you find out how good your point guard is, how good your freshmen are. Their first true road game.
You know, they asked Frank Haith back in Columbia this week about playing a road game. How do you feel? And he said, hey, we're getting ready to get into the SEC. We're going to play a lot of road games.
I think coaches make a mistake if they wait and play their first true road game in conference play. And I've seen some of it scheduled like that this year.
Yeah, with the RPI the way it is, strength of schedule, you have to play good teams in November and December.
Well, the SEC is down a little nationally. Top 50 RPI wins right now. 3 ranked teams, 5 teams in the top 40, which is good. I think that's, right now, I would say that's Florida's league to win. Kentucky, I think, closed the gap quite a bit today in terms of that race. And then right after that, Missouri,
I'll tell you a team
LSU, Arkansas.
I have been impressed with how much Johnny O'Brien's improved
From LSU.
Absolutely. And then you have the 2 freshman forwards, Martin and
Mickey.
Yeah, Mickey's been a double-double guy. Yep. Their guards need to be a little more solid. They can score it. Big shot right there by Ernest Ross. Good rhythm jumper. He is built like a linebacker. Hey, by the way, he grew up like 10 minutes from here.
Ernest Ross.
Yeah, he's a Cary, North Carolina kid. He's right up the road at Panther Creek. He's back home, as is Frank Haith. He's a former Elon Fighting Christian. What is the freshman guard going to do?
Not a good decision.
No.
There's a new shot clock. 30 on the shot clock, and just lowered his head like a bull.
There's another open look.
The bad shot bone is always connected to the bad transition defense bone. It just bit NC State in the rear end.
And that was a fracture right there. At least it's going to give Mark Gottfried a stress fracture.
And Missouri now on an 11-1 run themselves. The transition defense of NC State is a big reason why this game is tied. The lack of.
Yeah, no question. I love that Jordan Clarkson pitched that ball right ahead. Good catch and shoot off the break. Watch Ernest Ross now. This is the first 3. Off a little high screen, swing it back. Transfer from Auburn, knocks it down. And watch Clarkson, Jimmy, and his vision up the floor.
Yeah, he's not going to waste any time with it. This is what Missouri, to me, this is when they're at their best. When they can get that ball off the defensive boards and run it up the floor. Brown on one wing, Ross on the other, and Clarkson in the middle third. They can put a lot of stress on you defensively because Clarkson in the middle part of the floor, you have to put him in a crowd and then leave shooters open on the wings. But it's all started by, like you said, what's the freshman going to do?
Yeah.
Cat Barber dribbles in, bad shot, bam, tie ball game.
Yeah, time and score. That's what you tell your freshmen. You teach them every day in practice. Time and score. This is not an AAU game. You don't get to play tomorrow morning at 10:30 in the back gym.
No.
See if they get this guy a shot. TJ Warren. I thought Vandenberg might have got fouled there. Good effort.
Boy, Williams had Ernest Ross. Just going to hand the ball off to him for a 2-on-1.
Little horns action right here. Double high ball screen.
Will come left to go right. Jordan Clarkson and NC State did a good job in their scouting report to take it away.
What does Barber do, the freshman? Pulls it back out. Wise.
Now, we were watching film with NC State today after their shoot-around, and Cat Barber was the only guy that raised his hand and asked a question. A lot of freshmen will sit there and they won't ask the question because they lack of confidence to even ask it.
How about this guy? Kyle Washington is not lacking any confidence tonight.
Ran double figures off the bench for Washington now with 10. Catch and shoot. He's making the game extremely simple right now on the offensive end.
I'll tell you, this is going to be a fun NC State team to watch. You know, that's one of those calls. Roger Ayers, that's the 4th foul on Vandenberg. That's one of those calls Roger Ayers has made about 10,000 times, but I'm not sure Vandenberg was just an innocent bystander in the wrong spot. That looked like Clarkson dribbled right into him.
You know, we've seen that call a lot this year because of how the rules have changed now. The freedom of movement and how we're guarding the basketball.
Well, TJ Warren was fortunate. He got beat on the back cut, but he recovered. Yeah, there's another sound decision, Jimmy, in my opinion, by the freshman point guard. Now you got to start to play to your horse. Make sure Warren gets some touches.
Yeah, your horse is standing right there in front of Mark Gottfried at the top of the screen.
And I think the horse, he needed some water, so Mark Gottfried said, we're going to feed him. Boy, Kyle Washington, young man that played at Brewster Academy for Jason Smith. Same place that TJ Warren got his game going. Take a look, Jimmy, left hand over that shoulder. I love his energy. He's really not an offensive player. He's only averaging 3 points a game, but he's played with a lot of confidence tonight.
Yeah, he's a legit 6'9" and 225 pounds. He's going to be, he's going to be a 4-year guy. It's the building blocks that Mark Gottfried has in his freshman class. Talking about Barber and Washington and B.J. Anya, Bernard Freeman. That's a really solid, coachable guys that want to get better type group for Gottfried to build on. Washington has all 10 of his points in the second half.
Tell you what, he's played with confidence. He's letting it fly, which is normally, not been his MO all year. Man-to-man, they go fist right here.
16 on the shot clock. Without T.J. Warren on the floor, it's probably Ralston Turner, Cat Barber. Those are the 2 scorers.
Oh, he's got a shot, Turner. He didn't realize that Jabari Brown stumbled.
That was everything but in, wasn't it?
Game of inches, man. Ball's in the air. Good coach.
Mark Gottfried is trying to get T.J. Warren about 3 or 4 minutes of rest around the next TV timeout.
Jimmy, this is the wrong time to do it, man.
It is.
That basket's going to go.
They counted it.
Mark Gottfried wants to travel. Tell you what, Missouri, they're in striking distance. You've been talking about their ability to drive all night.
Yep.
I'm not sure that wasn't a charge. That's illegally guarding. Come on.
Chris Cotter in studio. West Coast Conference clash over on the U. Brandon Clark keeping the Santa Clara Broncos in it with 14. Sam Dower not playing for Gonzaga with a 7-point lead right now, about 6.5 minutes left to go in that one. Coming up here on the Deuce, Trevor Elliford and the Tide at Pauley Pavilion. Dave Pasch and Bill Walton bringing you the call 15 minutes away. You're going to want to stay tuned for that one. Until then, Jimmy and Fran bringing you the call from PNC, guys.
Fran, is a big call. We looked at it during the timeout. Maybe we'll have time to throw it up there again. Another couple of questions. Did the defender establish legal guarding position?
Yeah.
And that's depends on how you view it. But I don't think the basket should have counted because the contact occurred. Then he stepped again before he got the shot.
And Jimmy, I thought he also took a third step. But You know, in my mind, and I hope we do show it again, I just think you cannot reward an offensive player who's driving out of control in that situation. And then we might have disagreed a little bit about whether he had been established legally.
Right.
That's a big shot because that stems the momentum that Missouri has had coming back in this game. Interesting.
That's the problem that I have with the rules right now. I think officials almost default to calling it that way.
Yeah. Right now, Tyler Lewis is back in this ball game.
Jordan Clarkson needs to drive him. Don't settle for a jump shot. Frank Hayes said no ball screen. Let Jordan Clarkson go to work. And Tyler Lewis hang in there.
Big shot.
6'5" kid shooting over a 5'10" guy. That's the problem that you have.
We talked about this today. So many teams run that second big guy up to set a ball screen and invites a double team.
Yeah.
That time Clarkson just took Lewis, had the mismatch, and made a tough shot.
Yeah, Frank Hayes called off the ball screen.
Yep. Boy, Jimmy, I gotta think you got to make sure T.J. Warren touches this basketball.
Yes.
You know, he's a good passer, but he's going to invite defensive coverage on him.
Now they're going to try to post up Clarkson on Tyler Lewis.
They're going to
get him in curl action.
There's that circle play. 3 curls, then a 4th.
Are you going to clear him out again? Same play. No ball screen. Let Clarkson, with a height advantage, go to work. I'm going to call an offensive charge.
Well, that's not unlike what we saw earlier. You're allowed to be legally guarding, and if you slide your feet sideways or backwards, the offensive player must avoid the contact.
Tell you what, Tyler Lewis has held up in this ball game. I know he gave up a 3 the play before, but he has held his own in this game against a really good Jordan Clarkson.
Now, how do you get T.J. Warren the basketball in a position to score?
Cut him hard.
There you go.
Isolate him, let him go to work.
Right back at him.
Well, that's good offense.
Yeah.
Warren and Turner on the same side of the floor. You double down just a little bit to maybe scrape down on Warren, and he makes you pay.
Now, this is good basketball, Jimmy. They did get the ball to their scorer. Watch him invite the double team, the little dig. And then Ralston Turner with a big shot.
Yeah, you get those 2 guys on the same side of the floor, and you saw what Jabari Brown had to do. You had to scrape down just a little bit. And another thing I like about Ralston Turner, you and I both do, a shooter with size. Late in the ball game, can make a guarded shot. Jabari Brown was a late recovery, but boy, 2 big baskets right now. That last one by Turner, and the building is jumping again.
Now, if you're Missouri and you saw this situation against Illinois, what do? I think you spread the floor. They went dribble weave a number of times late in that game, but you got to make sure. I like Clarkson with the ball, open court, drive it, kick it, or get to the rim.
Well, you know, when Missouri fought their way back in this ball game, the building was jumping at times too. And what did Frank Hayes do? Out of the timeout, Frank Hayes said, I do not want a jump shot on this possession. Let's drive this thing at the rim. We've already talked about Missouri. They can't throw the thing inside. They drive the ball at the rim.
Well, one of the things, we don't have a pen that works here, so we can't show it, but one of the things you want to do with 3 guards, we do have a pen. Let's see if this one works.
If it doesn't, the assistant coach is getting fired.
Exactly. You got 3 guards right here. One of the things they like to do is just throw it and cut and then drive over the top. If he can't get to the rim, bring this guard around, clear it, and then drive it. The guy that's best at this, as you know, Jimmy, Jordan Clarkson, but they've got 2 weapons on the perimeter in Ross and Jabari Brown.
Well, Frank Hayes has gone to a small lineup.
Yes.
He's got 4 guards on the floor. He just needs 1 mismatch. And Clark will be the initiator, and Clarkson should be.
Here's what they did, Jimmy, in the Illinois game. They went to this lineup, as you remember.
Yep.
They put a 4th guard in the corner, and they went 4 out around 1. And they may be doing that here.
Or they could go, or they could go 5-0, 5 out.
Oh, Jonathan Williams is a beast inside.
Well, we knew that Missouri was not going to shoot a jump shot coming out of it. What NC State cannot do is allow Jordan Clarkson to drive this ball right. You have to corral the action up top. You can't let him get to his right hand.
You know, anytime there's a run up for a pick and roll, I always taught my guys, we yell weak, weak. And that means you automatically force the ball to the left hand. Yep.
You are playing with fire if you allow any of these Missouri guards to get to that right hand off the ball screen.
Got a new clock, basically 34, so you don't have to force a shot.
Get it out of that corner.
Yeah. One.
Friend, I think Missouri's been good on sideline out of bounds, or baseline out of bounds. What you can do is spread that floor with Brown off of a drive attack by Clarkson. Clarkson driving, trusting his feel and size as a passer to either finish at the rim or kick out to Brown.
Hey, Jimmy, Tuesday night, ESPN2 brings you a triple header. American Athletic Conference basketball starting at 5 Eastern. It's number 6 Louisville at Central Florida. Then it's 7. Number 17 Memphis, so 4-guard offense versus South Florida. And then Shabazz Napier and Kevin Ollie and crew will go into Houston's Hofheinz Pavilion, home of Phi Slamma Jamma Friday. That'll be finally at 9 o'clock. AAC basketball action. Tuesday, 5, 7, and 9 Eastern, ESPN2.
And Frank Haith gets his freshman point guard off the floor, Clark, and comes back with size with Rossberg. You want Rossberg on the floor right now as a screener and as an offensive rebounder. Their horns action, they usually go left to go right.
Well, I'll tell you, Desmond Lee is not letting Clarkson touch that ball. Well, they're not getting the ball to Clarkson. And I guess didn't matter.
Again, another shooter with size. Jabari Brown stuck one late in the Illinois game. A guy that can make guarded shots is of great value in a late game. And Jabari Brown just stuck a guarded shot.
They were fortunate because their best player, leading scorer in the SEC, was being guarded in an ISO situation all the way on the other side of the floor.
Jabari Brown, though, friend, to me, is Missouri's clutch player. He makes big baskets. So that's a pretty good challenge by Cat Barber, but because Brown is maybe 3 inches taller and he has a slight fade, so and he shoots it every time.
You want the ball in Jabari Brown's hands at the end of the game more so than Clarkson?
No, Clarkson is option 1, but they took it away. Jabari Brown is option 2. Well, he's averaging 18 points a ball game, and he can make guarded shots because he's 6'5", and if we saw it again, he leans back just a little bit, and he's always going to get that good vision of the rim.
Now, this is not very complicated, okay?
No, is T.J. Warren still in the building?
Yeah.
Well, then he's going to be involved in this play.
So you're going to get the ball, if you can, inside. Mark Gottfried's former schools, by the way. He was an assistant at UCLA on that 95 championship team and the head coach at Alabama. They'll be next.
I asked Mark Gottfried yesterday, what do you do late in a ball game if you need a basket? He said it's Cat Barber and T.J. Warren. Those are the two guys that can make a play.
Matchup zone by Missouri. So they took him out of their man play out of the timeout.
Well, you better not lose Warren if the shot goes up because he's already got a ton of offensive boards in this game.
Well, you got to create a driving situation. There it is. Now this is going to be a 1-and-1. Cat Barber's got to go to the line now and knock down a pair. He's been reasonably good this year, almost 75%.
He's managed the game well, though, for a freshman point guard under pressure. He's backed it out a couple of times in transition. That time the shot clock was down to 10. He didn't do anything crazy. He just drove it, got himself to the free throw stripe.
Now you got to foul. You cannot take time off the clock. You got to come and foul. And they don't want to foul that guy, but they have to. Jordan Clarkson will shoot the free throws.
Clarkson, an 86% free throw shooter on the year. Coming in, he's only missed 8 all season long.
Count this, Jimmy, off the miss. You got to know on the miss, you're going to still be down 1. So you got to look at, they all just retreat. And you got to come and give it soon. Yep. That's the stuff you do every single day.
Jordan Clarkson, 7 of 8 from the free throw line tonight. where you always want someone that when you get fouled like this, their first thought is you just fouled the wrong dude. And I think Jordan Clarkson kind of has that about him.
This is going to be a time and score situation, Jimmy, if it's a make or miss, because Mark Gottfried still got a timeout. Now you got to figure out whether you're going to need the 2 or the 3.
20 points for Jordan Clarkson.
When Belmont beat North Carolina in mid-November, they made 3 threes in the final 90 seconds, and they never called a timeout. They knew exactly what they were going to run. Missouri's in man. What I don't like about that timeout right there is that now, as you set your play up in the NC State huddle, does Missouri stay man or do they go zone?
Well, there's too much time left right now for Missouri. They might have a brief conversation, their coaching staff, about fouling right now. 19 seconds, I think that's off the equation. Not enough time, or too much time for that. A couple of key things. You're switching out everything right now. If you're Missouri, you're not giving open threes. Ralston Turner's the guy. But if you're NC State, for me, if I come to you and you're coaching NC State right now, I tell you this: we don't have to have a 3 coach.
Go
drive
right to
that
the
ball,
rim.
extend the game. Correct?
Totally. It's so much easier to get a easy 2 with a chance for the foul than shooting a contested 3 right here with all this time. Totally agree with you. Get to 2, set up your press, foul, and just stretch this game out and hope that either Clarkson misses one or someone else, you have an opportunity to foul.
Well, T.J. Warren has been the offensive rebounder in this ballgame. And if you're Missouri and you're Frank Haith and that staff, the last thing you say coming out of that huddle is get on the boards.
Well, here's the other thing, too. If this clock gets closer to triple zeros and you grab an offensive rebound, you might be wise not to score it,
Kick
but to make sure you kick it out. So it's all a matter of things that I used to work with my team on every day at the end of practice. Down 8, 3 to go. Let's play it. Let's see what happens.
They're trying to run Turner free for a 3.
I don't think they need this. I don't think they needed that.
Bad shot. A bad challenge shot. And another possession with 19 seconds to go. T.J. Warren never touched the basketball.
Well, again, Jimmy, that shot can be defended a lot easier than, take a look right here, than somebody just driving it to the basket, because Frank Haith has said, do not foul.
Or Jabari Brown, really good defense on a shooter. He was guarding himself. He kind of mirrors each other, and Jabari Brown kept his feet alive, didn't get his feet stuck guarding the shooter, and wouldn't allow Ralston Turner to get his feet comfortable. Good shooters, it turns into a foot fight, and Jabari Brown won the foot fight against the shooter.
This game tonight reminds me of I guess now a second round NCAA game. Now that we have the opening round, that 7-10 matchup we talked about, 8-9, it's had that feel all night long.
I still call it first round, by the way.
I know it. I know
I don't understand that.
But this is a huge win for Missouri if they can hang on the road against a team that's played really well. That's the drive.
Why would you do that?
Well, but that's the drive they should have gotten
the last
at
possession.
19 seconds.
Missouri just did the one thing they couldn't afford to do in this game.
That's why, as an offensive coach in that situation, we always drove it, because you're telling your defense, don't foul. And guess what? They're kids. They foul. I'm not sure.
That was on Williams. That wasn't on Clarkson, was it?
Can I tell you what I would do right here? I've missed this free throw intentionally.
As opposed to making it.
Yep, I would.
And trying to get an inbound steal.
Yes, because I would have a missed free throw tip out play. If you don't have it, you just got to make the free throw, and then they almost got it. They almost got it. Hey, Missouri's come in here tonight And it's been a hand-to-hand combat.
Absolutely.
You know, and they made some big shots down the stretch, particularly Bird and Brown.
Well, they still have to make a free throw right now, or you and I could be sitting here for another 10 or 15 minutes. But you go back and watch this game. If Missouri does win, they go in the monitor to see who the last foul was on.
And who's going to shoot it as well.
That was T.J. Warren on his back, right?
Looks like Jonathan Williams III is going to shoot the free throws.
I like the fact that we've changed it this year. They can now go to the monitor to see who fouled. In the past, it was who got fouled only. Now they can go there to make sure they got the right guy.
And by the way, they got the right guy because Jonathan Williams III, not a great free throw shooter.
So they called the foul on Warren, and Williams will shoot the free throws. %51 on the year coming in. He has 2.
Okay, now NC State has no timeouts. Frank Haith is going to use one here to set up his defense.
Chris Cotter, what do you got for us?
Jimmy, just want to let the folks know that Alabama and UCLA, they've tipped it up over at Pauley Pavilion over on ESPN News. And as soon as you guys reach the conclusion of your game, we'll send this game back over to ESPN2.
These two analysts, they're fascinating.
Back to Jimmy and Fran.
Back in Raleigh, Missouri clinging to a 3-point lead. They have a free throw coming that could end this ball game. Now, Fran, with 3.7, there is a different conversation over there about fouling.
Yeah, because you want to make this free throw. Let's make no doubt about it. You want to go up 4. But you have to decide if this shot is missed. Do you foul NC State, or do you allow them to use the 3 or 4 dribbles and get up the floor? Doesn't matter now.
Not gonna matter. Missouri, time and time again in this game, the place was rocking, and they refused to take jump shots, drove it at the rim, and they get a huge, true road win to carry into SEC play. Our final score from Raleigh, 68-64, the Missouri Tigers. Let's go to Pauley Pavilion for Alabama and UCLA. Here's Dave Pasch and Bill Walton.
Offensive limitations for Alabama.